In this particular section, we're going to look at what is known as a simple financial planning exercise. So let's assume there is some person who has a certain set of data points which are given. We have to create a simple financial plan and comment on whether he is able to meet his financial goals or not. The person also wants to explore if he can buy a home worth 80 lakhs in 2020 instead of the currently planned 50 lakhs without taking a loan. So let's first look at what data is available with us. We are told that the income of this person is 10 lakhs. The age of this person at this point of time is 35 years and is looking to retire at the age of 60. So another 25 years of work is there. Monthly expenses of this person are 50,000, which means current annual expenses are 6 lakhs, 50,000 into 12. Expected salary increase annual is 10%. Expected inflation, which will go and impact your data set in terms of 50,000 monthly expenses, 8%. Current net savings are 20,000, 20 lakhs. Then what are the major financial goals? The person wants to buy a house in 2020 at the price of 50 lakhs. The kids' higher education has to be funded in 2025 at the price of 25 lakhs. And kids' wedding in 2030 at the price of 10 lakhs. These are, remember, typically given in current price terms. So inflated price, if something costs 100 today, it will not cost 100 5 years down the line. It will also grow, right? That inflated price will come in at the inflation rate of 8%. This one is a goal which is after 5 years. So this is 50,000 into 1 plus 8% raised to the power 5. This one is 25 lakhs into 1 plus 8% after 10 years, and this is 10 lakhs into 1 plus 8% after 15 years. So that is the actual amount that will be needed over that period when you reach that period, assuming an 8% inflation, right? So that's what is available to us as data point. This is the data in terms of the goals, which will mean an outflow for this person, right? So let's understand what are the sources of inflow here. So this is a source of inflow, income. This is an outflow, and inflow minus outflow is going to give you savings. That savings gets added to the existing net savings number, and your expected investment returns are 10%. So this 20 lakhs is going to grow at 10% per year, and whatever savings are there are also going to grow at 10% per year. Inflow is going to grow at 10% per year. Outflow is going to grow at 8% per year, and everything that is saved is going to grow at 10% per year, right? So that's the problem statement. We need to identify if the person is able to actually manage his goals and meet all the goals, right? For that, we'll have to create what is called as a financial planning table, right? Which we will create here. Let's call this a financial plan. This will have certain headers that will be put in. So let's put in the header as age. Let's put in the header as year. Then let's put this as net investment value, right? So this is the value of investment today. So we can put in this as 20 lakhs, and I will put these numbers in lakhs. So 20 lakh is the value today. Then you have income and you have expenses, and you put in the growth rate of income here, and you put in the growth rate of expenses here, and you have savings, right? And then you have, let's assume all the cash flows happen at the end of the year. The outflow happens at the end of the year. So we'll say net investments at year end, correct? Net investments at year end is what we are saying. And then there are financial goals that are going to come, right? In fact, we'll see if we want to have this net investment at year end kind of a number, we may not need this at all, year-end value, and we can incorporate this somewhere else itself, right? So now let's try and put in the numbers. 35 is the age, 2015 is the current time frame, income is 10, expenses are 6, right? How do you get 6? 50,000 into 12. So that's the expenses that we get. What is the savings number? 10 minus 6. Let's assume savings happen at the end of the year, right? So this 4 lakhs gets saved at the end of the year, which means what is the saving that you have net investments at the end of the year? You have this 20 that grows at 10% plus this 4. So 20 into 1 plus 10% will become 22, correct? Let's look at that. So this is net investments at the end of year, this, and let's put 10% investment growth number here. So we have 20 into 1 plus 10%, correct? And plus what is saved during the year, 4. So we get 26 here. Any financial goals? 0 at this point of time, right? And we add this plus 1, we add this plus 1. What you ended with the net investments last year is what is going to be the beginning value this year. So in 2015, we ended with 26 lakhs. So 2016 should start with 26 lakhs, right? My income is going to grow at 10%. So 10 multiplied by 1 plus 10%, right? And I will freeze this number because that is my income. My expenses will grow into 6 multiplied by 1 plus 8%, and I will freeze this number as well. Let's add a decimal point so that we get the data set. Savings is a direct calculation, and this number also I have to freeze G4 here. The investment return has to be frozen at 10%, and that comes down here, right? One thing that we missed out is, let's assume there was a financial goal of 5 lakhs here. If there was a financial goal of 5 lakh here, I should not have begun the next year at 26. This should have been 26 minus 5, right? So let's incorporate this formula as G6 minus the financial goal, whatever it is. Now here, there is no financial goal, 0. Where does the financial goal come in, right? So let's drag this down first, all the way up to, let's say, the age of 60 for this person. So that's 60. And let's also drag it ahead. Let's assume a life expectancy of 80 or so. So we go all the way up to 80, correct? That is done. Now in 2020, there is an outflow of 50, not exactly 50, but I can link it here to 73 lakhs divided by 10 raised to 5. So 73 is the outflow. In 2025, the outflow is 53 divided by 10 raised to 5. Why am I dividing it by 10 raised to the power 5? To convert it to lakhs. Remember, all values in rupees lakhs. Correct? So that's what we have done. And 2030, there is another set of investments that is going to financial goal requirement that is going to come in. That is this divided by 10 raised to power 5. 10 raised to power 5 is because a lakh has 5 zeros, correct? So that is where we kind of get this data. Let's actually go and let's actually go and unfreeze the panes and freeze the panes here, so that when we go down, we have the top row clearly established, right? Now all I need to do is, because the formula has been correctly put in, all I need to do is just keep copying this downwards, right? So let's copy it till here. We find that every year the savings keep growing, the net income grows at 10%, the expenses grow at 8%. So every year the net savings increase. Financial net investments at the end of the year are 76 lakhs, right? Now out of this you will end up taking out 73. So let's see what happens if you take out 73. You are left with only 3 lakhs after you have purchased the home. Next year onwards, you again start saving. Let's see if this saving is enough to reach this point. So in 2025, you have 67 lakhs, out of which 54 goes for higher education of the kid. And then you continue after this for a while, which brings you here. And now because of the compounding factor, the income has started increasing dramatically fast. Expenses have not grown at the same pace, which means yearly savings have increased a lot. And everything growing at 10% every year becomes a big compounded number. So now you have 1 crore 32 lakhs here, and 32 is the outflow that is needed, and that can be taken out. And then this income keeps growing till the age of 60. At the age of 60, however, the person retires. So beyond this, there is no income, right? So technically, beyond this, I shouldn't have an income in the next year. So either I can come here and put this as a hard-coded zero number and kind of continue with this as the calculation. Or what I can do is I can incorporate, because there is an expense, this thing here, I can put in an if loop here, which says if the age is greater than 60 and 0, else this value. If the age is greater than 60, then I want the value to be 0, else it will grow to the income that is there. Let's go down and see what happens if I keep dragging this down. You see, 0 automatically gets punched in there. So all I need to do now is drag it all the way down, and we see that the calculations work out fine in terms of the person. Eventually, if the person ends with some net investment value, then the goals have sufficed his lifetime. The money has sufficed the lifetime, and all the financial goals have been met. If at any point of time this number becomes negative, the net investment value number becomes negative, then you have run out of money. You either need a loan. So there was another part of the question which said, can he buy a home worth 80 lakhs in 2020 instead of the currently planned 50 lakhs? Let's put 80 lakhs here and see what happens. If you put 80 lakhs here, you realize that at the first goal itself, the guy goes into a negative number. This cannot be purchased unless there is a loan amount here. You have to have the difference of these two as a loan. If you don't take this loan, you cannot purchase this home, right? So that gives you an idea of where a loan is required by the person. If that is the case, then a loan schedule also kind of keeps getting built in, and that kind of also gets repaid. We know how the EMI calculations work on loans. That can also get a part of the financial planning tool itself. At this point of time, the question asks us whether he can buy it without taking a loan. The answer is no. At the current investment values, he cannot buy it without taking a loan, right? Now let's try and play around with things. Let's see what happens if inflation goes to 11%. If inflation goes to 11%, every year, the savings does not grow at the same pace. That's a little bit of a challenge, as it was doing earlier. Second, beyond a point, you see that trouble starts. So if inflation is at 11%, all we have changed is that prices are rising at 11%. Your investments grow at 10% here beyond 2060, and there is no new addition to that. But your money required is growing at 11%, and you see in about 5 years, this gentleman runs out of the money, right? If you put this as 10%, then beyond a point, this number will start becoming stagnant essentially, and you will again run out of money beyond a point, because your total net investments would be growing at 10%, but your expenses every year are bigger than 10% of the growth. You get the point. If I have 563 lakhs here, then 10% growth is going to add only 50 lakhs, right? But I'm taking out 71. So I'll end with a lower number, and then a lower number, and lower and lower and lower, and that lower keeps becoming bigger by the same logic. So I have to have a scenario where either I have enough money that I have made till retirement, because if this one assumption on inflation goes wrong from 8% to even 10%, that's a problem. If this becomes 9, Even at 9 towards the last 4 years, it becomes negative, right? So there is a huge amount of sensitivity that is there, which is why it is typically said that either you control your expenses or you invest in instruments that give you slightly higher return. So if you put 11% here, you see only in the last year there is a problem. If you put 12% here, then there's a significant growth that comes in. 12% can possibly take in a significant age of 10% inflation as well, right? But that is also why you note that in general, inflation is such a difficult beast to control. That's why when inflation goes high, the RBI in their policy try to control inflation very significantly, because a 12% inflation compounded can be a seriously damaging prospect in subsequent years, right? Let's go back to our initial calculations, and assuming 10% income growth, 8% inflation and 10% investment returns, you will make enough money. Ideally, people want to make more returns purely because they want to be sure that even if inflation increases tomorrow, that does not erode your living standard. You continue to stay at the same living standard beyond a point. This is how a basic financial plan gets constructed. This is how the calculations of the financial plan work. You can extend this analysis by adding more elements here in terms of loan requirements, in terms of insurance requirements, which we will bring in at a later point of time.